Welcome to the Cross Canada Spotlight. I'm Mike Arsenault. Every week we take a look at some of the most interesting and entertaining stories produced across the Global News Network. Curling fans across the country are tuned in to the Brier, the crown jewel of men's curling in Canada. The tournament is taking place in Lethbridge, Alberta, and the youngest team in the draw is from Newfoundland and Labrador. They're playing against guys who could be their dads.
It feels way better than I ever imagined, and there's a lot of excitement and a lot of nerves.
While Newfoundland and Labrador had one of the farthest commutes to Lethbridge for this year's Brier, their journey to Canadian curling's biggest stage has been quicker than most. The elder statesman of the rink is Ben Stringer at 20 years old, and while the entire group is still eligible for the Junior Curling Championships, they're already making their Brier debuts.
I don't think words can really describe it right now. Just getting out on the ice just then was awesome.
At just 19, Nathan Young has 15 years of curling experience under his belt. On the biggest stage of his career so far, the skip is soaking up the Brier atmosphere.
It's just, have as much fun as we can, take it one shot at a time, stay loose, support one another, and that'll give us our best chance to perform at our best ability.
Some curling fans might be getting their first look at Team Newfoundland and Labrador, but one of their opponents has had plenty of opportunity to see them in action. Fellow Newfoundlander Brad Gushu shares a coach with the group, and he believes the Brier is only the beginning for the young rink.
I'm excited for them. They're a good young team. I think they're going to be a really good team in a number of years, but this is going to be a great learning opportunity for them to see, how far they have to go to get to this level, and it's not that far, but there's some work to do, and hopefully they enjoy the experience.
Playing for a men's curling championship is a tall task for anyone, but with 4 members still attending post-secondary, Team Young has something extra on their plate other teams don't have to worry about: homework.
A little bit, but a lot of my professors have been really helpful with letting me get stuff done before or a little bit after.
While the hope is this is the first of many Briers, the group is setting new benchmarks with their opportunity. 15-year-old alternate Nicholas Codner is believed to be the youngest participant in a Brier ever after making his first appearance on Saturday. Eric Bay, Global News.
It seems like it's a safe bet to say that the majority of the teams competing in the Brier don't have to worry about homework between draws. And Brad Gushu is right. The experience the squad will gain playing at the Brier will turbocharge their development in the years to come. From young current athletes to an old former athlete, and a tremendous honor for legendary hockey player Lanny McDonald.
Probably the greatest thing I can actually say is that at 69 years old, I have had the time of my life.
His resume is as full and illustrious as that still impressive mustache. More than 50 years after he left Hanna, Alberta to start his hockey career, Lanny McDonald is still having an impact on the game he loves.
Lanny's work is extended beyond his hockey playing career is an understatement. One of the most recognizable people on the planet, and with a philanthropic heart to match.
The Flames great is one of 3 distinguished honorees named to the Order of Hockey in Canada's class of 2022. The order celebrates outstanding contribution to the growth and development of the sport in our country. While Lanny's long quest to lift the Stanley Cup is a staple in Calgary lore, he spoke fondly of his time with the national team at a ceremony in Niagara Falls on Wednesday.
I didn't even know I was going to make the team. They had great players there. I think on that team, there's 19 of 21 or 22 players that are all Hall of Famers.
He's talking about a historic night at the Montreal Forum in 1976 and the biggest assist of Lanny's life in double overtime against then Czechoslovakia in the Canada Cup final.
Ahead to Lanny McDonald, to Marcel Dion, to Sittler. Sittler gets by, right in on goal, a shot. Oh!
All 5 guys on the ice touched the puck. Potvin over to Robinson, up to myself, over to Marcel, and Darryl would have never got the puck unless Marcel Little Beaver actually gave it to him. That was by far my greatest memory as Hockey Canada.
Lanny is joined by his Canada Cup teammate Guy Lafleur and fellow Hockey Hall of Famer Kim St. Pierre for this prestigious honor. Lafleur captured 5 Stanley Cups and remains the Canadians' all-time leading scorer with nearly 1,300 points. St. Pierre is a 3-time Olympic gold medalist who shut out her opponents 29 times in 83 games with the national team. The trio will be honored at a gala in June along with the classes of 2020 and 2021. Cami Kepke, Global Sports.
You know, I think Lanny McDonald is like Samson. The source of all of his hockey prowess can be found in his prodigious facial hair. And that Canada Cup team in 1976 had some serious star power. The first hockey jersey I ever wore was my dad's Guy Lafleur number 10. This past week marked International Women's Day. In Montreal, a charity is working to help women who are knocked down to get back up and thrive. This is Sandrine's story.
Sandrine Sango doesn't take walks around her neighborhood for granted. Before last year, she didn't have a place of her own to call home.
I feel like a reborn.
In 2019, Sango's husband left her. The mom of 2 children had no savings, was evicted, and moved into this shelter.
In that period of my life, I was so depressed, I didn't know what to do next.
The 37-year-old was introduced to Up With Women, a charity founded by Leah Grimanis, who experienced homelessness when she was a teenager.
The day that I decided to live was the day that I made that promise on my shelter bed, that I was going to help others to rebuild their lives faster than I could, because it took me almost 10 years just to get back to my starting line.
Up With Women clients work with coaches in a year-long intensive career program. This coach claims it's an opportunity for women to rewrite their life story.
I'm hoping that they will come into their own, that they will realize that they can be the writers of their own futures.
It was amazing for me, for my self-esteem and for myself too.
Sango says the program gave her hope at the lowest point in her life and pushed her to go back to school.
Whatever dream you put in the side, in the past, you can start over, ask again, just give it the chance to try and see.
Sango is now living her dream, working for the same organization that helped lift her out of poverty.
I want to tell other women like me that it's not finished. It's like what you've been through is gonna pass.
The once homeless Montrealer says this is just the start of her second chance at a better life. Olivia O'Malley, Global News, Montreal.
What a nice pay-it-forward moment for Sandrine. She is the epitome of coming full circle. What a terrific organization providing sorely needed services for many women. To Nova Scotia, where an injection of provincial funding is going to help the film industry and the thousands of workers the industry employs with some more consistent work.
For those who had been working in the film industry, the 2015 tax credit brought devastation, driving people away from the province and looking for work in other jurisdictions or leaving the industry altogether. The $23 million funding announced by the province on Tuesday will make Nova Scotia more viable for year-round production.
We're hoping that maybe some of the folks who had to leave after 2015 may come back. But we're also working hard to recruit and build our crew base once again.
The executive director of Screen Nova Scotia says the funding will help redevelop the talent pool and the growth in the industry that took a hard hit 7 years ago.
I really think that people in the industry feel now that we're really turning a corner, and that this investment marks a day where we can start to look forward and not focus on the past 7 years any further.
Shelly Bibby works for a union that represents roughly 60% of the workforce on a film or series, everything from lighting crews to special effects. She says the investment is only the beginning and is starting to make efforts toward recruiting high school students for the industry.
It's great that we're going to be able to go into schools or travel around and say, this is a possibility for you. Not necessarily having to go to school for it, although we do have a community college program, but so that gives us that option of making it much more attractive to new people.
Amber Friday, Global News, Halifax.
The pandemic's impact on business across pretty much every industry in the country was so far-reaching and devastating to many. Hopefully more funding plans like this will get us back to where we were in 2019. Unfortunately, I know that's not possible for everyone, but help is definitely needed. Speaking of film, the first ever animated Pixar film to take place in Canada was released on Disney Plus recently, and the Toronto-born creator returned to her roots upon the release of Turning Red.
It's a coming-of-age film about a Chinese-Canadian girl who turns into a panda. A love letter to the 416, full of Toronto touchstones, the CN Tower, TTC streetcars, and Toronto's Chinatown.
It was my first time living outside of Canada.
Now Domi Shi, the Toronto creator of the upcoming Pixar film Turning Red, has come back home to give advice to her younger self. 400 animation students from Sheridan College packing this auditorium in Oakville to hear one of their own speak.
It's awe-inspiring to see somebody that graduated in 2011, 10 years out of school, directing a film that I think is going to be a huge hit.
Michelle Hannon, who taught Shi animation at Sheridan, says she's watched her former student soar, winning an Oscar for her short film Bao, and now becoming the first Asian woman to direct a Pixar feature film.
I think any student right now that sees similarities in themselves with her will feel like some doors and gates or whatever she had said are opening.
I see her succeed and now I feel like I can do that.
For third-year stop-motion student Seema Nassim, it's the diversity in Shi's work that stands out. The Toronto she knows, but doesn't always see on the big screen.
The first time I ever saw a Pixar movie with people of color was made by Domi Shi, and that really inspired me because I'm Pakistani, Canadian. I grew up in Toronto too.
Shi's Turning Red not only puts Canada on the animation map, but a spotlight on homegrown talent too, starring Canadian darlings like Maitreyi Ramakrishnan.
We were just at the CN Tower.
Even Sandra Oh.
Toronto was never the it spot in media.
She being unapologetically Canadian in her work is a point that Cassius appreciates.
I'm so thankful that now with Turning Red, kids can see the CN Tower, they can see the Sky Dome. I know that if I was a kid right now and I was watching this, I'd be so proud to be from Toronto, Canada.
Turning Red premieres this Friday. Keela McLean, Global News.
Well, I'm much further than 10 years out from post-secondary school. Apparently, I have some work to do. But what a cool opportunity for all of those students to witness firsthand the potential and very impressive career path by a former student. That's it for the Cross Canada Spotlight. Be sure to watch Global News Weekend, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. on the Global TV app and Prime Video.